Hey everyone, welcome back to Miles Beyond the Page. I'm Michelle Miles, and each week I chat with authors about their journeys, the wins, the struggles, and everything in between. So grab your favorite drink and let's go beyond the page together. Today I'm super excited to host one of my very long time writing friends, Janis Susan May Patterson, who is also, she has lots of pen names, and we're going to get into that too. And she is the author of A Killing at El Cobb under the pen name Janis Patterson. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
All right. Yay.
It's
All right.
really
So,
difficult to call me by the wrong name.
yeah, I'll just call you by all your names.
Okay.
All right. So, talk to us about A Killing at El Cobb.
Well, it's one of my older books, and it is perhaps my very favorite, not so much because of the book itself, but because of what went into the writing of it.
Hmm.
My husband and I are both Egyptomanes. We met through Egyptology. He proposed to me in Egypt in the moonlit gardens of the Mina Hotel
Oh,
in Giza at the base of the pyramids.
well, if that's not romantic, I don't know what is.
It was a harlequin moment, I'll tell you.
I love it.
But I became acquainted with Dr. Dirk Hugh, who he's passed away now, and I haven't forgiven him for that yet. But he was the director of the Royal Brussels Museum of Art and Archaeology, or History and Archaeology, I've forgotten. It's a title about yay long. And he was also the director of the Belgian, how I got involved with Belgium is incredible, but archaeological mission to El Cobb.
Hmm.
He was one of my references for the Egyptian file because I needed some information about El Cobb. And we became friends and we were emailing back and forth. I had never met him in person, had no idea of what he looked like because he was rather peculiar about having his picture made. And I have this habit of, give me a kernel of a story, a sentence, and I can make a whole story out of it. And so I was doing that. I'm weird that way. And this was in January 4th, I think. And he said, "You need to write that. You need to come out here and stay at the dig house." He says, "I'll get the paperwork started." And then he gave me several dates. And I said, wait a minute. I talked to my husband first. And we were in one of our typical let's save money modes.
Hmm.
So the rest of the afternoon, I sat and knowing my husband, we've been married 25 years now, I kept thinking, okay, he's going to say this. So I will say this and counter. And he walked in coming home from work. This was when he was still working. And I said, "Hi, honey, welcome home. Guess what? Dirk just called and he wants us to come to the dig house." And he said, "When do we leave?" Okay, one afternoon wasted. So that was first week of January, March 15th, we stepped off the plane in Luxor. And
Nice.
we got to stay for 4 days at the dig house. And people who are not into archaeology don't realize what a signal honor that is.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Millions never get to stay at dig houses. Never, ever. We stayed for 4 days. I wrote the book. It was very well received. It made a bestseller list in Belgium.
Nice.
I have made bestseller lists in France and in Belgium, but never in the United States. And my French is atrocious, and I don't speak more than half a dozen words of Belgian. Dutch, or they speak three languages there, which one confuses me enough. But anyway, that memory is what makes El Cobb my favorite book, and
Yes.
it's a cracking good mystery to begin with. And if you've never been on an archaeological dig, it is totally accurate as to procedures and fighting between the archaeologists.
Well, this is a fascinating story too, and I know you travel there quite a bit. So can you talk to us a little bit about how you got interested in Egyptology?
I think it's genetic. There are three kinds of people. One kind doesn't give a flying flip.
Mm.
That's in Africa, isn't it? The other kind, another kind is like my late mother. They watch the specials on National Geographic and history and find them very interesting, but it ends there. It's not part of their lives. Then there are people like me. By the time I was 9 years old, I had read every book in the Dallas Public Library system about Egyptology. I do not remember a time I was not interested in Egyptology.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when I was 9 years old, I will be honest, there were a lot fewer books on Egyptology back then.
Yeah.
It's just been the leitmotif of my life.
Yeah.
And with my husband, he has always been interested. We met through Egyptology through the North Texas chapter of the American Research Center in Egypt.
I love this. This is so great. What a wonderful experience you've had, especially being in the dig house. That is just fascinating to me. I think when I was 9 years old, I wanted to be an archaeologist, but I just was really wanting to be with Indiana Jones. So,
I'll tell you a story. You do not get to El Cobb easier. It's out on the edge of the Nile, but you have to go through the desert to get there. It's the kind of place where you turn left at the dead cow. And so when I was taught, we rented a flat in Luxor because to go to Egypt for 4 days is ridiculous. So we ended up staying about 2.5 weeks, and we rented a flat on the West Bank from a friend. And of course, there was a phone, so we talked to Dirk, and I said, well, we'll just get a drop car and driver, and we'll just show up at the house. And he says, you can't do that. He said, you'll never find it. And he was very right about that. So we agreed that we would meet in the train station at El Cobb. There's still a town called El Cobb, although it's rated about a quarter of a mile away from the dig. That piece of land has been occupied since the Badarian times, and that is before Dynasty Zero.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking thousands of years.
Yeah.
So we agreed on that. We agreed on a time, and we take a nice car. We drive there, and we're just parking, and I had just gotten out because we've been driving about an hour, and the Egyptian roads are not butt friendly. So I got out and was walking around, and up pulls this ancient Land Rover with El Cobb on the side. It parks next to us, and out steps this man, tall, lanky, ruggedly handsome, a little bit younger than I am, but then everybody is younger than I am right now. So he looked like you would expect Indiana Jones' father to really look. And he looked at me. Of course, here I am, red-haired, American, obviously, in this little tiny, he had one stop for the train station. And he looked at me and said, Susan? Dirk? And he grabbed me, not quite bend over backwards hug, but close enough. Well, the thing is, he was married to a lovely, lovely lady whom he adored. I spoke to her. She's marvelous. And I'm very happily married, more than most people. And my husband was standing like 12 feet away. It was still one of the most romantic moments. I mean,
I love it.
standing up, public place, pure romance.
I hope you put that in a book somewhere.
Not to put my own adventures in books because nobody ever believes them. Like I did a book called The Jerusalem Connection. Susan May, it's a romantic caper adventure. After I worked on a film for a couple of months in Jerusalem, years and years ago. And I wrote down a lot of my adventures. I mean, in real life, I stole a Mercedes. I was proposed to 4 times, 2 of which were marriage. I got shot at by the Israeli army, and I was mistaken for the Virgin Mary. And I was old enough, it was not flattering to be mistaken for a virgin anything. I put some of my adventures into the book. At the time, I was agented, and the internet didn't exist at that time.
Right.
I mailed it to my then agent, and waited. And 24 hours I expected to be notified that it was up for auction. 2 weeks went past, and you had to do telephone calls, and they cost money then.
Yeah.
And I was poor. I was working 2 jobs. And my agent called about something else. And I said, well, what about Jerusalem Connection? What about it? What's happening? She said, oh, we enjoyed it in the office so much. It is such a grand, sarcastic take on adventure books, but we can't sell it to anybody. It's just too over the top. I proceeded to tell her that most of the things in the book did happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I left out this and this and this and this. And she said it was satire. It wasn't.
Mm.
So she was silent for so long that, thank God it was her nickel, that I thought we'd been disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
And I, hello? And she said, well, I've known you for years, so I believe you, but nobody else would. Nobody. So I took the book back, put it in the yawning pit under my bed. And later on, I rewrote it, took out some of the more interesting things,
Mm-hmm.
fictionalized it a little, and it's one of my good sellers now.
Yeah.
Modernized it.
And what is the title of this book again?
The Jerusalem Connection.
The Jerusalem Connection.
And all
Awesome.
the books we're talking about today are on my website. I don't have a story yet. That's in my dreams.
Right.
But there are excerpts from all of them on the website, and they're all available through Amazon.
Great. And all of these links will be in the show notes for people to connect with you
Good.
afterwards. Yeah. So let's talk about, you have multiple pen names and you're pretty prolific. So talk to me about how you decided to go with more than one pen name. Was that like, I know you write a lot of different genres, but was it to keep those separate from each other?
It's branding.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in advertising, and I believe in definite branding for each product.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe in having everything connected. Like, I only have one website. It has two names, but I have one website, and
Mm-hmm.
all of my books are on there on different pages, so you can jump around. I make no secret that all of these people are me. It's
Right.
schizophrenia, fun, and profit. But I started out in romance like everybody did. I sold my
Mm-hmm.
first book to New York in 1979, which makes me old. But
Experienced and wise.
old, I was experienced on the first book. But Janis Susan May is my real, that's the name that was given me at birth. It's on my birth announcement. And I wanted to use the name May name because my dad always wanted to write, and he makes me look like a tongue-tied 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
But he never could because he had family to support.
Mm-hmm.
So he
Right.
never got to. So I wanted to be, and thank God the book came out and he was able to hold it in his hands, that first book, before he passed away.
That's great.
His name went on. And then I wrote romance for many years. I'm one of the original 40 who founded Romance Writers of America.
Yes, which is
Right.
incredible.
Interesting. I
Times
can
have changed.
on that, and people will hate me for it. But after a while, I was told by several people that I was much more comfortable with dead bodies than I was with live ones. Because I don't write sex. To me,
Mm-hmm.
sex age is boring. It's part of the book you skip over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure of the psychology, which again makes me strange.
Mm-hmm.
But so I decided, well, I will write a mystery. But then I thought, if my Janis Susan May with no romance in it, they're not going to be happy. So I decided to call myself Janis Patterson for three reasons. One, it is my legal married name. It's on my passport, it's on my driver's license, it's on the title of the house, whatever. Secondly, I had married by then. Secondly, it honors my wonderful husband who supports me and encourages me all the time. I couldn't do it without him.
Hmm.
And thirdly, with any luck at all, it gets me shelved next to James Patterson.
See, that's good thinking.
Phone to call cousin Jamie when he's not in earshot. Never met and we're not related, but that doesn't stop me.
So we've talked a little bit about your writing journey. Now let's talk a little bit about your writing process. What does a typical writing routine look like for you?
Uh, Honey, there's nothing typical about me. I've been known to write in airports with a ballpoint pen on a cocktail napkin. I have been known to take my phone, which has email in it, and write a chapter picking out on that little teeny tiny keyboard, which I hate,
Yes.
version of my email program. I do have a lovely, in fact, I have two offices in my home, one of which at the moment it resembles more of a storeroom because we're going through some things that belong to late relatives. I have one in the den.
Hmm.
I have several computers dashed here and there. I even have a travel computer. I prefer to work on a laptop.
Hmm.
My husband decided we were going to Egypt for 2 or 3 weeks, and I was going to take my computer because I keep a travel diary. Oh, and if you want to read my travel diary about my latest trip to Jordan or some of my trips to Egypt, they're all on the website.
Great.
You have to work. It's the newest one first, so you have to work your way down.
Right.
But it's it's an interesting tale. My mother was tall, willowy, gorgeous, looked like Loretta Young. I People didn't used to think we were related, but I did inherit one thing from her, and that was her gift of incident, as my father called it, meaning she could stand alone, naked, in an empty room and have more stuff happen to her than people out hunting for adventure. That's what I got from my mother.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But writing process, I'm a firm believer that writers write. It makes no difference if they're scribing at the moment by
Hmm.
pen or, blood dipped finger or computer, whatever. 99% of writing happens here.
Right.
And, you're out there looking at the turnips in the grocery store, which are delicious, by the way, when you slice them real thin, marinate them in lemon juice, and then sprinkle black pepper on them. Make
Mm.
a lovely drinks nibble. But you're writing, and you never know what's going to, because I saw a vegetable slicer once, and I thought that's a lovely way to kill somebody. I spend a lot of time thinking of ways to exterminate my fellow man.
That's great. Sometimes they deserve it.
Unfortunately, I'm too cowardly to do real research.
Mm. Yes. Well, you might be grossed out too. What's on the internet? Um, so do you plot everything out ahead of time or do you just kind of wing it?
I am a plotting pantser. Like most of my life, that is a contradiction in terms. When I was teaching, I used to call it the suspension. Blah. I talk English good. The suspension bridge system,
Uh-huh.
where you're going to start, and you know approximately where you're going to end. You may have to
Yeah.
move it a little bit because of uncertain ground or something, but you know the beginning and the middle, and you know 2 or 3 plot points that have
Yeah.
to, sometimes more, and more come as you write. But then it's just a matter of stringing the web work in between.
Yeah, I love this analogy too. I think I've talked to a lot of writers, and there are a lot of us who are plotter plantsters. We do a little bit of both. I mean, I know I do. So, but I love that you string it together in a web type. That's just a great visual.
Sometimes it surprises the heck out of me.
I love those moments
A
too.
couple of years ago, called The Hollow House,
Hmm.
which had the best opening line of any book I have ever written. It said, I decided to be called Gwendolyn something or other. I've forgotten the name now. It was not the name I was born to. It is not the name I married, but it was as good a name to hide under as any.
Nice. I like it.
In 1916 in Denver, both of which I knew nothing about. I do now, more than I would really want to know.
Yeah.
I knew who was going to get killed. I knew how they were going to get killed, and I knew who did it. And I'm
Hmm.
writing along, and I'm about 6 chapters from the end, and all of a sudden, he couldn't have done it. He was here. Who did it? So I thought for a while, and so and so did it. So I go writing merrily along, and about another chapter, she couldn't have done it. She was so and so. Finally, like 25 pages from the end, the murderer revealed itself. I'm not
Hmm.
giving any hints here. And I was thinking, of course, that makes perfect sense. Now I'm going to have to go back through and put in the clues. Except I didn't because they were already there.
Oh, I love it. Your brain was working for you.
Oh, my brain works overtime. If I had to pay it, I couldn't afford it.
Um, well, tell us about some of the techniques or tools that you use. Do you use any while you're writing, or does it just kind of come to you as you're writing?
Or hardware.
Either.
I am a firm believer that if you cannot manipulate the language on your own, you're not a real writer.
Mm.
These programs that you get, improve your writing and this will edit for you. And I'm going, that's BS. That makes it a collaboration between you and some unknown programmer. If
Hmm.
admittedly, I do check the dictionary for spelling. I'm not that hot in spelling, but that's not creative. That is didactic.
Yes.
Uh, I I don't really. People have asked me that similar question.
Hmm.
No idea. I have been writing for so long. It is so internalized that I could tell you which one of my veins carries blood which direction, either the easier than I could how my mind works. I
Mm-hmm.
wrote my first book at 4.
Nice. I love it.
Not one of the ones I have republished. Don't worry about that. But
So you're a world traveler. You've been lots of different places, and do you take those experiences when you are in those types of places and put them in your book somehow, like with a setting or something or a character?
sometimes there's no rhyme nor reason nor anything. I can't
Mhm.
say that I do anything consistently right. I've written several books set in Egypt. I've written several books set in England. I wrote several set in Mexico, where I used to live. I've
Mhm.
never said anything in Brussels, which I love. It just depends on what percolates up through my brain.
Right. So do you write in series or do are most of your books just standalone type books that anyone could just pick up and read?
Um, yes, most of my books are standalone
Hmm.
because I bore easily. When you're reading book 32 of Sweet Valley, Oklahoma, where everybody owns a yarn shop, and I'm going, not again. Please, not again. But series sell and
Yeah.
for money. So I'm doing 2 series, not very expeditiously. One is the Flora Melchiot series. She was a minor character in my book Exercises Murder, which was supposed to be book number 1 of the Rebecca Cloudweb series. Rebecca was just too depressing a character, but Flora, she's a older widow. I would say elderly, but I'm older now than she is.
Hmm.
She's an older widow of a very wealthy jeweler, one of those annoying people that knows she could have done anything if she had chosen. Um, Absolutely arrogant, jewelry fanatic, and lots of fun. I want to grow
Yeah.
up and be her. And the other is about God, it's been so long I've even forgotten the creature's name, but she's a contract Rachel Petrie. She's a contract archaeologist, So she gets to work on a dig anywhere she likes. Right now, she's digging in Illinois, where
Hmm.
they're resurrecting this old Civil War cemetery, except there's a fresh body in it.
I love that twist.
Fresh,
Um,
like the last 10 years.
yeah. So which do you prefer to write? Do you prefer to write mystery? Um, I guess the question is, you don't really write straight romance, do you?
Yes, I do.
You
I've
do. Okay.
every year since 2018, I have done two novellas a year for Dreamstone Publishing out of Australia.
Oh,
They're
nice.
themed, like one theme was twins, one theme is reunions, one theme is returning soldiers. You know, they have a loose theme. There's three to seven of us who contribute. I've done
Hmm.
every for Regency, and they are pretty much pure romance.
Uh-huh.
Uh, let's put it this way: I love to write mystery for the challenge, but I love the payday from romance.
I was just going to ask, which do you prefer, mystery or romance? And there's my answer.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like
And,
everything else, it's double.
so what do you have out that's current? What are you working on now that's upcoming?
I am finishing up the Christmas romance about reunions, and my heroine is a daughter of a wealthy man who has repudiated her. He married her off to an earl because he's fascinated by the royalty and the
Mm.
aristocracy. He came up as a costermonger's son, except that the earl was a gambler, a drunkard, and all kinds of nasty people, and he was killed. And she left because the house was terrible and his mother-in-law was a dragon, her mother-in-law. And her father repudiated her because he had visions of going out and living the lifestyle of the earl's father-in-law.
Hmm.
So she has become, to keep from starving, she has become the companion to a very nasty old lady. And then her childhood love shows up. And he now has a title because his older brother died.
Nice. And
Oh,
when
the
can we
widow and the wanderer.
say that one more time?
The widow and the wanderer. And it should be coming out, maybe middle of November.
Great. Nice. I love it. Um, so we're getting kind of close to running out of time, but I do have a couple of more questions to ask you.
I will
Um,
try to restrain myself.
first, what is one piece of advice you wished you'd known earlier in your writing journey?
Become a plumber. It's a lot more dependable and you make a lot more money.
Yeah.
Seriously, never stop learning.
Mm, that's good
Always
advice.
practice your craft. Nobody is so good that they cannot afford to learn something.
Right. Right. I love it. Yes, that's really good advice too. And do you have any tips for anyone just starting out or considering a career in writing?
Be sure you have a day job. Also, read. Read the classics, not just what's on the bestseller list.
Mm,
Note what you like. Note why you like it. Note what you don't like and why you don't like it. Again, it comes back to the learning.
I love it. So, okay, one more question. I said a couple, but I really have a couple more. How do you define success as an author?
The easy answer would be lots of money in a country house, but that's not the same. It is, to me, success is being happy in your own skin and proud of what you have done.
Yeah, I think you have to be proud of what you've done for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Yeah.
There's a couple of my books that, like I said, have gone permanently into the yawning pit under my bed and will never be seen again in my lifetime.
Mm, I think we
Uh,
all have those.
there aren't many, but there's a few that, get back down there. Some are just journeyman stuff, and everybody has those too. You have a deadline, you've got to get something down.
Right.
There's a few of which I am just unbelievably proud.
That's great. I love it. And finally, tell us where we can find you and your books online.
Okay, you can go to my website, which is www.janis, Janis, Patterson, spelled just like you think it should be, .com. No, Janis Patterson Mysteries.com.
Got it?
There are excerpts from all available books on there right now. And the store has not yet materialized. It's hopefully not too long away, but everything is available electronically. Let's put it this way. The ones I control are available electronically on Amazon.
Great.
The few that have slipped out of my greedy little fingers, I'm still working to get them back, but there's very few of them.
Yeah.
Some are available in paperback. It's one of my dreams to have everything available in paperback, but that's pretty
It's
far
a
down.
lot. Yeah. It's a lot of work.
Mhm.
But it's so worthwhile too when you can finally see that book in print. I love it.
Oh, yes, yes, and it's a legacy
It is.
to the world. I don't have any children of my own, so I'm just leaving them to the world.
Right. That's all you can do. And
Mhm.
this has been delightful. So thank you so much for joining me today. I absolutely love talking to you. You have such an interesting background, and it's fascinating to me. Plus, you have a brush with archaeology, so I love it.
Thank you
um,
for having me. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, and today has been no exception.
yeah, I love talking to you too. We get to see each other, not as much as we used to, but it was good to have you.
Have to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to thank so much to Janis Susan May Patterson. I'm just going to say them all.
Yeah. Well, every pen name I have is some sort of iteration of that name.
Mhm.
So
Right.
people sort of take it and extrapolate.
You
Can I
can find
list
her.
names real fast?
Absolutely.
Okay, Janis Susan May, romance. Janis Patterson, traditional mystery. J.S. May, horror. And you might want to look at the book Colossus. It's fun. Janis Susan Patterson, children's, which are not available at the moment because my publisher went belly up.
Mm.
And then scholarly, Egyptology, and nonfiction, J.S.M. Patterson.
Excellent. So anything for anybody.
Something for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm getting
This is
old for that.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your insights and your incredible journey. And be sure to check out her book, A Killing at El Cobb. And a huge thank you to all of you for watching and listening. If you enjoyed this episode, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe. Catch Miles Beyond the Page on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeart, and pretty much anywhere you can get podcasts. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep writing, and I'll see you miles beyond the page. Thanks for joining me on Miles Beyond the Page. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. If you're an author and want to be a guest, visit milesbeyondthepage.com and fill out the guest intake form to apply. Keep writing, keep dreaming, and I'll see you next time.